July 4th, the time of year when I ask my friends if they're free tonight, to which they respond, they are free every night, because this is America. Then we go back and forth trading pictures of presidents being as American as they possibly can be. So how could I not talk about Captain America today? He's got America in his name! That's where I live. While you might know the story of how Cap was brought back in the comics, you might not know the story of why he was brought back. Why did Marvel decide to take a chance on a hero that died out after World War II and bring him into the present day? Welcome to a tie-in video, I'm Scott, and by now I'm sure we all know how Steve Rogers was given super soldier serum, fought in World War II, was frozen in ice for a while, and then thawed out in the present day to join the Avengers. Even though the movie says he's the first Avenger, he wasn't added to the team until the 4th issue. He's not even the first Avenger in terms of who chronologically existed first, as a character like Namor debuted a few years before Cap and also became an Avenger at some point. So the movie really should have been called Captain America. He's some kind of Avenger, isn't he? But that's not really important for this video. Why did Marvel decide to bring back the Sentinel of Liberty in the first place? Stan Lee writes in his introduction to the Avengers Masterworks Volume 1 about how they were assembling the characters for the Avengers roster. He says that he felt someone was missing, and that someone wore a spangly outfit. But Cap hadn't been a popular character in comics for many years, so they needed to test the waters first to see if people would still like him. In Strange Tales number 114, which was released just a few months before Cap's official triumphant return in the Avengers number 4, Stan wrote a story called The Human Torch Meets Captain America. Does this mean that Captain America made his Silver Age comeback before he was thawed out in Avengers? Not exactly, but I'd wager it definitely factors in. In this story, Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, gets wind that Captain America, who was a personal hero of his, is somehow back from the dead. When Johnny actually meets him, Cap is shown to be kind of a jerk, and they actually end up fighting a bit. Long story short, it's revealed that Cap was really an imposter, an old enemy of the Human Torch named the Acrobat, who was dressing up as Captain America and going around stealing from banks for some reason. But the really interesting part is at the very last panel of the story, when Johnny is wondering what ever did become of the real Captain America. Will he ever return? Well, it says plainly that this entire story was really a test to see if the readers would also want Captain America to return. Presumably, the answer was a resounding yes, and Cap was officially brought back a few months later in that iconic Avengers comic. In my mind, this decision probably went one of two ways. Number one, Marvel genuinely wanted to gauge the reaction of the fans to see whether or not they should bring Cap back. Or number two, Stan Lee was going to do it anyway, and he was simply looking for validation on his brilliant idea. Strange Tales number 14 was published in November of 1963, and Avengers number 4 was published in March of 1964, so theoretically, they would have had plenty of time to see how the fans responded to the idea of Cap coming back before they made their decision to really bring him back. Especially if they were going by the Marvel method and pumping out comics at a breakneck speed. Still though, it could have totally been already set in motion, and Stan Lee was simply giving the readers a little bit of a teaser for what was inevitably on the horizon. It's interesting to think about that there's this possibility that the fans played some kind of role in bringing Captain America back. It makes you wonder what things would be like if it went differently and he didn't return. Captain America, the almost Avenger. What do you guys think? Did the fans play a part in bringing back Captain America, or was it set in stone anyway? What are some other appropriate subtitles for the Captain America movie? Let's talk about it all in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning who took over as Captain America while Steve Rogers was frozen, I made a video a few months back explaining that very subject. I'll link it up in the description below if you want to check it out, or if you want to watch it again and you've already seen it. And if this is your first time hanging out with us here at NerdSync, we make new videos every week because we believe that asking questions and examining comics beyond the surface can actually enhance your comic book reading experience and make comics just a little bit more awesome. So make sure you hit that big sexy subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Once again, I'm Scott. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you on Monday for another episode of the NerdSync podcast, available on iTunes and SoundCloud. See ya.